Hello, everybody. Welcome. We hope you had a great first session and a great opening. I am the Olivia Delo. I'm the director of the College Success here at Fulfillment Fund, College Success Program here at Fulfillment Fund. And today we have AIT Worldwide Logistics, and we have Shanna McCormick here with us, and then we have Andrew Witt. So Shanna is the director of Global Learning and Development, and Andrew is the VP of North America Operations. So we have some questions for them today, but I'll let them go ahead and introduce themselves and their role and what they do at AIT. But quick reminder, students, we do have a lot of scholarships and gift cards to give away today. So make sure that you're active in the chat, ask your questions, and more than anything, right, everybody here on this call is really open to connecting with you. So ask your questions, be curious, create your network, like Amy said in the opening. And we hope that you have a really great session. But yeah, please feel free to use the chat. I already see you guys in there, so that's great. So awesome. I'll go ahead and pass it off to you all to go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we can jump into the questions.
Go ahead, Andrew. You kick it off.
All right, thank you. So Andrew Witt here, Vice President, North America Operations. I have been in the industry 25 years. Started the year 2000 with UPS while I was going to school. Went from UPS to Eagle Global Logistics, which was acquired, became SIVA Global Logistics. And now I've been at AIT for 11 years. I started out as the branch leader in Los Angeles. So I managed the station. About 3 to 5 years into that, I then took over the West region. So the entire West region of about 8 stations, all the way from Seattle down to San Diego to Salt Lake and Phoenix. We have a facility in each of those cities. And then 2 years ago, I took over North America operations. So been a wonderful journey with AIT. Very happy to be here and really excited about talking to everybody on this video conference here. So thanks for having us.
Thank you, Andrew.
And good evening. My name is Shanna McCormick. I'm the Director of Global Learning and Development at AIT. So in that role, I do oversee our early career programs, which includes a summer internship and then a rotational program once you graduate. So I can talk about that a little bit later. I have an interesting kind of career story because I did start in logistics almost 23 years ago, as of tomorrow, actually. And I worked in logistics. I had no idea what logistics was. My mother-in-law pulled me into the industry and I loved it. And eventually I went on a different path. I came to a fork in the road and was given an opportunity to get more into training and coaching. And so I took that path, and that's what led me. Now I work under corporate HR, which is interesting. It's almost like an entirely separate career path in itself. So I still continue to leverage my freight forwarding experience every day that I work for AIT, and it's been a huge advantage for me in the L&D part of the business as well. So it's nice to meet you.
Congrats on the anniversary, by the way.
Yeah, congrats, Shanna.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. So students, I do have some questions for Shanna and Andrew, but again, you can use the Q&A feature if there's anything that comes up that you'd like more information on. They are pros at this, so they're going to give you a lot of great info about what they do. So the first question that I have, and either one of you can go ahead and take it away. Can you first define supply chain management and what the industry does for our students?
Yeah, it's a great question. So supply chain, right? It's how you get product from origin all the way to the end consumer at destination, right? So we're moving goods all across the globe, right? So let's say you have a couch in your house. At some point, maybe that house was manufactured in Asia, and then maybe it's imported on an ocean container to the US, and then maybe it sits in a warehouse for a while in Los Angeles. You order it online, and then it gets delivered by a company like ours to your house, right? So that's just one example of tons of examples. But supply chain, we have verticals like automotive, high tech, retail, e-commerce, pharmaceuticals. So we move everything you could possibly think of around the world, and we help keep goods and commerce flowing globally.
So everyone's impacted by it.
Yeah, I mean, we want to keep it seamless to the end customer, right? So typically the only time folks talk about supply chain is when you go to the store and you can't get toilet paper off the shelf.
There's a problem. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And you're like, hey, who's supplying this toilet paper? What's broken in the supply chain? And typically that's when demand outpaces supply, right? But companies like ours work with a bunch of various customers to help move their product around the globe so that the end consumer, more and more, faster and faster. We want to order stuff online and have it same day or next day or within a few days. We're helping to make that as seamless and fast and cost conscious as possible. So absolutely, good question.
I sort of like to explain our role as a freight forwarder because we are just one piece in that supply chain overall term. We are a global freight forwarder and we act in a way sort of like a travel agent, but for freight. So think of a travel agent booking a vacation for a family, maybe going to Disneyland. They're going to arrange for the transportation. They're going to get the tickets. They're going to arrange for the hotel. There are a lot of different pieces involved, a lot of different parts of transportation. Maybe they're going out of the country and they need to help them with visa paperwork or to get a passport. The travel agent knows everything about how to get that family safely from their home to their destination and then maybe back. So in freight forwarding, it's very similar to that. There are a lot of different carriers. We work with the truckers, we work with the airlines, we work with the customs brokers who import the goods through customs. We are familiar with all the different countries, customs regulations, laws. It's a highly regulated industry, and it's interesting because you are forced to kind of pay attention and what's going on in the world. What's going on in the world really impacts our business, and it's our job to kind of mitigate those changes and for our customers. So if there's a challenge, they come to us and we help them work through that challenge, if that makes sense. So we're like the subject matter experts at shipping. And it's a really interesting kind of career. I'm sure we'll talk about this more, but it's good.
Yeah, so there's a lot that goes into it. It's not just, supply, right? Like you said, you have to know about different laws, the economy, be very, aware of what's going on in the world, right? So macro level, micro level. So there's something for everybody depending on what their interest is to kind of get involved. That's great. And so we do have one question in the chat already, and it kind of goes into my next question for both of you. How did you break into the industry? So like, how did you, Shanna, you talked about it a little bit, but what initially attracted you to supply chain management and what keeps you there now?
You go ahead, go first, Sean.
So my mother-in-law, she was in the industry. She pulled me in. I was pretty young at the time and it was good money. It was more money than I had ever made at that time. Not a lot of money in today's terms by far, but I was able to be pretty independent, self-sufficient by working for this job. And once I got into the job, I just realized that I liked it. I'm the type of person that likes to solve people's problems. If I have a friend that comes to me with a problem in my head, just naturally, I'm not thinking of, consoling you or this or that. I'm looking at, okay, how can I help you fix your problem? It's just in my nature. So that problem solving mentality was really helpful in freight forwarding. And I loved that aspect of it. I'm faced with a challenge. Every day is different. And we come up with creative solutions to kind of work through that. So that's what kept me in logistics. But initially, I had no idea what I was getting into. I didn't know what an ocean container was. I didn't know that it was back of a freight train or what a truck was. I had no idea. It was only for the money, to be honest.
And totally fair, right? You're graduating, you need a job, you see a really great salary. Why not? Could be unexpected, but it's a great opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of the same reasons that Shanna stated, right? It's problem solving, it's fast paced, it's always different challenges. You get to visit and deal with so many customers that you feel like sometimes you're working for those customers too. So you get so much exposure to tech companies and automotive companies and retail companies, because you really have to pick apart their culture and what they need and how to help support them, right? But for me, it was I was working at UPS. It was a way to, go to school, which, I worked a lot more in IT early on in my career. So I started to get a little bit more into kind of database management and programming. So I think for me, the combination of UPS and some of the technical skills were the perfect marriage for logistics for me, which was definitely very helpful early on in my career. But yeah, I mean, I've stayed with it because, to your point, Sean, it's rewarding. But all pays the bills, does a good job doing that. But at the same time, it's fast paced. No 2 days are the same. And I love that, right? So I saw myself kind of being involved in a bunch of different companies and traveling and being exposed to a lot of different things. So with me, a little ADD, it kind of was well suited for keeping me busy and engaged. And it can be stressful. I like a little bit of the adrenaline push from that sometimes, I'm not gonna lie. So for my personality, I think it goes well because I enjoy the pressure and the stress that sometimes comes with it, but also leadership. I love to lead, coach, and develop people. That's my favorite part of it is the team, the people you work with, the global teammates you collaborate with. Sean and I were on video conferences with people in Asia in the evening and Europe in the morning. And we've got our US teams, right? So just the global exposure to different cultures and different customers and being involved in global trade is challenging. It's a lot of fun too, because it's always different.
Awesome. So it sounds like for both of you, you like that no 2 days are the same, right? You like that there's a change of pace. So that fits your personality type, what you want out of your job and career. So same thing for students, right? It's not just what's the actual technical piece of the job, but what is it going to look like for you, and is that going to fit for you, right? It's not just I'm going to go and do my job and that's it. If it can be fulfilling for you and something that you like, why not, right? And I think we're definitely on this theme of career is a journey. So there's lots of different pathways to find what's a good fit for you. So don't be afraid of that, right? Like try it out. If it doesn't fit for you, great. Right now, that's not a good fit. But it sounds like for both of you, right? You tried it out, you liked it, you stuck with it, and it's really, right? It seems like you're still very passionate about it and you enjoy it.
Yes.
Yeah, when you like it, I think you're good at it because you enjoy it. You want to be better, right? So I think you got to find something that you got to pay the bills, of course, but you also have to like what you do. And when you're able to solve both of those things with a job, I think it's nice.
Very fortunate, yeah. We do have a couple more Q&As and I'm going to go ahead and address. And again, you get students, great job. You're right on all the questions that I have. So you guys could run this session yourself, students. So one question that we have, in your opinion, what's the most complicated piece of this work? Are there issues with communications, or what do you find are the challenges in your day-to-day?
Yeah, the challenges that we face day to day now is, that you mentioned it, Olivia, the geopolitical things that happen, right? You've got right now there's a trade tariff war going on. It's been going on. So that's kind of been a lot of back and forth, stop, start, stop, start. So that's been a little stressful this year because a lot of customers are rushing product in or out of the country, right? So, and there's a lot of deadlines that come with that. So you need to be really adaptive. But I think once again, that's the fun. It's fun to be able to solve that problem and help our customers navigate, a lot of the trade tariff discussions that are happening right now. So, AI, how are we going to use AI in the future? And are we staying on the cusp of that technology? So I think that's something that's critical. How is data and AI going to frame our industry 5 years from now, 10 years from now? So a lot of it is just making sure that we're just staying on the cutting edge for our customers.
So it's not even just internal things, right? You have to really, you're keeping an eye globally, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And Shanna, anything to add to that? The challenges that you
Yeah. I mean, at a larger scale, those are definitely challenges. The day-to-day being an operator, moving shipments. I mean, the challenges are the things that, Andrew and I kind of expressed that we love about the job can also, everything has a deadline. It's very fast paced. It's, how do I say it? Like, there's a lot on the line. If you make a mistake, it's high stress, sometimes. So it may not be the right fit for you, or you may thrive in that environment. So it just depends, but there's still, I mean, that's a challenge, a day-to-day challenge that I don't want to sugarcoat for this industry, right? So that's just what I would say.
Yeah, you've got to be, grit and resilience is important. Because it can be stressful and a lot of challenges do happen and it's rewarding as well though, right? But I think it's important to have the grit, and a lot of times the resilience comes with time. It's not like you start out gritty, it's something you build over dealing with challenges and obstacles and stretching your comfort zone and getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I think those who are interested in personal growth and getting outside their comfort zone and developing, our industry is prone to that. So it's something you have to see as a great opportunity versus something that maybe could drive personal anxiety, right? So yeah.
Yeah, that's great that you mentioned that, right? This challenge versus opportunity. There's definitely opportunities in these challenges, and on the other side of what can be difficult or anxiety producing. So yeah, I think we were in a couple other sessions earlier, and one of the things that somebody said is, if no one else is gonna attack the problem, that's an opportunity for you, right? To showcase your grit, your drive, your problem solving skills. So instead of seeing it as a challenge that's insurmountable, take it as an opportunity, right? Lean into it.
Absolutely. Yes, 1000%.
Yeah, and I think, throughout my career, it's never been about what's the perfect utopia job. It's always been, where's the problem? And I'm gonna go try to tackle it. Maybe I'm successful, maybe I'm not. But I'm gonna step up and give it my best. And I think that's important. Failure only stays failure if you let it stay a failure, right? But a lot of times working through failure, success is on the other end, and it's just a matter of time and attention. So the way I've advanced in my career is by running towards problems as a student with optimism versus running away from it or being fearful of the outcome, right? So I think that's really important. And it's not necessarily always, hey, I want to do that. It's, hey, what do you need and how do I help solve a problem for the organization? And same for our customers, right? When I visited a customer in Arizona this week, I just flew back from Phoenix right before this meeting. And all I ask the customer is, what problems do you have and how can we help you solve those problems? That's how we're going to get our first shipment, right? It's that simple. Same thing when you're working in an organization. What challenges is the organization facing, and how are we going to help provide solutions or solve those problems? And the more you gravitate towards being that person that solves problems, the more you don't have to chase opportunities, they're going to chase you.
So Olivia, I think there was a really good question that came up in the chat that kind of spoke to what Andrew just said about, how did you get to the position that you're in, and did you rely on connections? And I think by him saying just throwing yourself into those problems, you're in a sense making those connections. That's how you do it. That's you are open to new opportunities, challenges. You're the go-to person. People will remember you. When you're asked if you want to participate in a project or an assignment that may be difficult or stretch you beyond your comfort level, you take those opportunities. You are able to expand your horizons I know for me personally, I didn't know anyone. I didn't rely on personal connections to move up, but they recognize something in you, and then they ask you to do additional work sometimes. And it's when you do that additional work or get outside of your department or outside of your immediate team that you're given opportunities and you're making those connections. Those connections are the people, those are the people that will give you those opportunities later down the road. It kind of circles back. You never burn bridges. You are always respectful, make good contacts, and you never know. This is a small industry. I'm sure every industry is like this. Like, you don't burn bridges. They will come back. It's a very small world. So sorry to take over your
No,
thing. I just saw it come up. I was like, that's a good
keep
question.
going, let's go.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of good insight there. No, I think that a lot of questions about, right, like how did you know that this was the right fit for you, right? How did you come to this place of knowing yourself enough to know that this was a good place where you're going to be able to grow, and the same thing was a good fit? So I know that there's a lot of questions like that right now for students, is how do you know, right? Because there's a lot of fear. If I make the wrong decision, am I stuck, right? There's things that happen, right? If you don't feel like it's a good fit. So for you, what was like maybe like that aha moment? Like, yeah, this is for me, and I think I can stay here, and I want to keep growing in this industry.
Well, I think that the aha moment for me personally wasn't initially. It was later on, once I kind of knew what I was doing. It takes a while to kind of figure out. I think that there's a lot of pressure over kind of deciding what you want to do for the rest of your life immediately. In our internship program that we offer and our rotational program after you graduate, one of the things that I do is that first year, we just dedicate that to rotating through different departments so that you're exposed to as much as possible and given the opportunity to really kind of learn more about yourself and learn more about the industry, and hopefully give you a better idea of what your career path will be. And it's okay for that career path to change along the way. I'm the perfect kind of example of that. I had a passion for, process and training and coaching new people, and that just kind of led into this new world. But if you learn the basics first, it's going to give you a foundation to go into a lot of different avenues. You could do, what Andrew does, or go into learning and development, go into finance, go into global compliance, go into sales. Once you have that foundation, you have a lot of opportunities. You don't have to decide right now. That would just be a lot of our interns come in, and that's kind of what's at the forefront of their mind and what gives them the most anxiety. So I would just say, don't worry about that. Just do your best every day, and it'll all come together eventually.
Yeah, and I think, Shauna brings up a good point. Is Shauna's in HR, I'm in operations. Like, we have people in marketing, we have people in finance that work for us. So all the education, right? If you have a degree in finance, we have a finance team, right? And even for me in operations, I still have to manage a P&L. So I'm looking at revenue, expenses, all those things, right? So, having a finance background's helpful, having a business background's helpful. You could have marketing, you could work in marketing. So what's unique about our industry is there's all those potential degrees where you can do things, HR, where you could do things within our industry. It's kind of up to you which direction you want to go. Where, Shauna, you started out in operations, you found you love HR. It doesn't mean you have to stay in HR. You may want to, you may not want to, right? But I think there's some versatility there. I think the other thing that's kind of cool about our industry is, like, our company we have a office in every major city. So if I go to Phoenix, we have an office and warehouse in Phoenix. I was there this morning. Or if you go to, Philadelphia, or you're going to Miami, or you're going to Hong Kong, or you're going to, London, right? We have offices in every major global airport code destination, right? So a lot of our teammates, I'll give an example. We had a teammate that worked in Austin, wanted to go to Hartford, Connecticut. So he moved up there. He's got a leadership position in Hartford. We had an individual in LA. There was an opportunity in Philadelphia. So they moved to Philadelphia and, you know, they're doing their thing out there. So the ability to move around geographies and go try out even another geography you may want to go live in just to try it out. Doesn't mean you'll stay there. A lot of people in our industry, they may have lived in 4 or 5 different states for some time. It doesn't mean that just because you move to a destination, you're going to stay there the rest of your life, right? So to Shauna's point, there's a lot of versatility and it's never too late to make a change for anything, for any reason. So it's a good question.
Thank you both. I think again, right, a lot of anxiety, like you said, Shanna, about what am I going to do for the rest of my life? I'm in this internship, and so I have to make this work, right? So students, I think we're all saying the same thing. You don't have to make a decision right away. So it's really important, like you said, take in the experience, do your best, learn the soft skills, the transferable skills that you can take anywhere, in anywhere in the organization, right? And so you both talked about, right? Yes, there's obviously you have a degree, you go to college, but there's a lot that you're also going to learn once you get into that role that you get into, right? And then as you move up, you're gaining these skills. So really, really important piece too for our students. Like, yes, go to class, get your degree, you
Yeah.
have to do that.
Yeah.
But know that you're also getting a lot of other really valuable skills along the way that are going to be very important. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, I have another question for you all, particularly around networking. I think this is one of the biggest pieces that we're constantly telling students is network, build your network. Amy also says your network is your net worth. So I think that's a really big thing that we say at Fulfillment Fund now. So can you just talk about what that looked like for you as you were a young professional and even now, building that network, starting out, trying to make connections?
You want to start first, Sean?
Networking is a weakness of mine. It's very important. I'm reminded of it on a daily basis, you know, and you really have to push yourself. It's easy to get kind of caught up in your day to day and doing the tactical things that need to be done. But networking is really important. For my profession, it's about keeping up to date with the industry, learning what other companies are doing, what best practices, and I suppose that this is the same for any industry. And maybe Andrew, like you go to conventions and things like that. I'm doing that for L&D, specific to L&T, maintaining my status as a subject matter expert in my field. So next month I go to Las Vegas all by myself, thousands of people. I'm going to talk to them. I'm going to network. This never ends. This is not just for young professionals. We have to put ourselves, you know, push ourselves out of our comfort zone and do these things. And it is necessary to move up and to grow, not just to meet connections, but just to stay a master of your craft and keep learning. The learning never stops, right? It keeps going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a good call. I mean, you know, we're networking right now. This is the next wave. How many folks are on this video conference again, Olivia?
Ooh, overall, over 200. But in
Yeah,
this session, right?
for me, I've just met 200 plus of the next wave of brilliant professionals that may enter this industry, right? So us doing this right now is networking. We're networking with you just as much as you're networking with us, because look, we're looking for the next wave of leadership in Los Angeles and Dallas and, you know, Seattle and just on and on and on. So to that point, LinkedIn is a great tool still. I don't know how many people I'm connected with on LinkedIn. I think it's a couple thousand at least, I think maybe more. But LinkedIn is critical. Also picking up the phone. So just, you know, going to those events, right, that Shauna talked about, do those networking events, but also it's okay to pick up the phone and call people in the industry that you may know and say, how's it going? How are you doing? You need help or anything? A lot of times people call me just to say, hey, I need somebody in this market. Do you know of anybody that may be a good fit? And then I do the same too. So typically when I'm hiring positions, it's a lot of phone calls and reaching out to people just to see who's available, who's interested, who's looking, maybe they're soft looking, right? It's so, yeah, networking is absolutely critical. The one thing I should have done a better job on is I've definitely had some good mentors, but I would have started pretty early, but definitely start with getting a mentor early. So whatever industry you want to get into, it's okay to find somebody who's done really well and surround yourself with people that have good intent for you and just want to pass on knowledge just because, and that have done well, and allow those folks, you got to listen. We got 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, right? So listen to them and find out ways of where they failed and where they succeeded, so that hopefully you don't make the same mistakes that we've all made. And I've made many of them, trust me. So yeah, networking I think is absolutely critical. The sooner you start, the better you're off.
Yeah, absolutely. And to both of your points, right? It's about keeping up to date with your own industry and, constantly learning and growing and making sure that you are, like you said, a subject matter expert. But again, making sure that you keep those relationships alive when you're not, looking for a job, right? Just calling to
Yeah.
check in. Hey, how's it going? Breathing life into these relationships and not just an ask, right? So I think that's also something young professionals struggle with. Like, how do I interact with my mentors or my network without just like asking them for things, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Your peers are important. It's important to maintain those relationships as well. It's not always the people that you're working for. The people you're working with might be managers one day. They might be working at a company that you apply for down the line, and can put in a good word for you. Again, it's a small world, so don't burn bridges. Keep those relationships alive. LinkedIn is great. I wish it was around when I first started in the industry. Andrew and I had to play catch up a little bit.
We did.
But it's a great tool to keep in touch with people.
Yeah, it really is, right? I think we talk about it now. It's just got to be in your social media rotation during the day. You just got to check it. Awesome.
Yeah, and when you're at work and you have a lot of video conference meetings, you definitely want to be that person that's got your video. I'm not saying all the time, but most of the time, right? Because you want to be front and center. You want to be visible. And the only way to be visible is being visible. So in these industry events, I always tell people, we had some interns come through that I recently talked to in Los Angeles, but I told them closed mouths don't get fed. So you got to be vocal and speak up, right? Like if you want something or you're interested, don't be shy, put yourself out there, speak up, So I think, just kind of blaze trails and, we're not all extroverted. I have my introverted time and I've got my extroverted time, but you definitely want to push outside your comfort zone and get yourself visibly out there in whatever forum you're trying to network on.
Very, very true. Yeah, you got to make sure that you're being curious, you're asking questions, and making sure that you're getting noticed. Very important.
Yep.
Okay, another question that I have for you all. You've talked a little bit about, right, it's really important for students or, young professionals in the industry, right, take on the projects, make yourself visible, right, and that's really important for their growth and getting noticed. But what about any of those challenging moments that you've seen too, whether in yourself or new professionals, and how did you yourself come over that challenge, or have you seen other professionals overcome those challenges in these industries?
Well, a challenge for me, ironically, because I'm in training, is public speaking. And I am more, introverted in a way. So you just have to do it. You just have to do it over and over again. I'm pretty sure Andrew, I don't know if Keith has put this out there. He's like that too. He's our chief operating officer, but you just have to do it. So I saw somebody put in the being an introvert. You're not alone. It doesn't mean that you can't do this. You just have to keep doing it. And it will get better. Every time you do it, it'll get a little bit better.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah, Keith's been open about that, and a lot of
Yeah.
it came down to exposure and
Yeah.
planning and preparation and overcoming that anxiety. He's phenomenal now. So he's, you would never know, right? But he had that internal battle at some point that he conquered. And I think, it's like if you're scared of maybe going in an elevator, you should probably go in an elevator more often until you overcome that fear, right? So it's the time under tension, it's the exposure. But yeah, for me, early on, especially when I first started as a people leader, not empowering the team, not delegating, trying to do too much myself. So I learned the hard way early on with all of that. So like I said, all of the lessons I've learned have been through making mistakes and learning from it. Nothing has been just I got it right the first time. It's been failure, learn, failure, learn, failure, learn, hopefully less failure over time, right? But you're still going to have it. But, and then it's just being decisive, making decisions. But I think a lot of those things for me now have got me to the point where I am today, where I'm, much more comfortable as a leader, just because I've been doing it for close to 20 years now. And you just deal with every kind of situation and you just learn from it and you try to be better. And the other thing is just making sure you always care about people, have good intention for the people around you. I think that's the most important thing. You want to know when you're talking to somebody that you truly wish the best and want the best for them. And typically when you communicate in that fashion, people are receptive because they know it's genuine, they know it's authentic, right? So have good intentions for those around you. And that always helps from a teamwork standpoint.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you both. And Shauna, we were talking about that today too, public speaking, getting on here. Everyone's like, we've done this a million times. I'm still jittery. Right? So even like when you practice, right? You get better at it, but it doesn't mean you're never going to get nervous, right? Or you're always going to feel 100%. So students, even us in the professional world, we're still learning, we're still growing, we're still working through those anxieties here and there. So you're not alone, right? In this journey. You may be, younger and you're just starting out, but we've been there and we're still going through it. So again, don't be afraid to reach out and ask questions and, being able to tackle those things.
Yeah, and that kind of reminds me, Olivia, like when COVID first hit and, the video calls weren't necessarily completely predominant at that time, but then immediately they were because of all the remote work, right? It was a little awkward at first with the Brady Bunch squares and the trying to talk to 80 people on a video conference call, right? And at first it's kind of awkward and you're talking to the camera, but then now it's second nature to everybody. And now I'm probably eating a Chipotle burrito at lunch when I'm on a meeting and I'm like, I should probably turn off video, but
I just did that today, Andrew. That's funny. Eating lunch
yeah.
while you're on a Zoom call.
I mean, eventually you get to a point where you're more comfortable, you're less shy about it, and it becomes more natural. But yeah, public speaking, when I first started at UPS, I'd do like pre-shift meeting at 3 a.m, and I'd have 50 folks in front, and you got to get them kind of energized and ready to go. And when I was 19 years old, I was terrified at first. I'm like, everybody's looking at me, and what am I going to say, right? But after about 3 to 4 months, you almost become a stand-up comedian a little bit, and something that may have been scary initially becomes a lot of fun. You just got to embrace it, right? So I would have never known that, Shauna. So that's interesting to know about you as well.
It's just funny that it happened today.
Yeah,
Automatically. I usually don't. I don't make that a common practice. But...
yeah. No, I mean just being shy with public speaking.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, the world of technology, right? There's a lot to learn as they grow with it, but I think we're all still trying to navigate it as it keeps growing.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think that's kind of a good segue into, right? We talked about tech and AI, and that's a big wave, right? Coming in all the industries, and every industry is going to tackle it in a little bit different way. But how do you see the change in technology, the rise of AI? How do you see that impacting your field, either currently or kind of looking ahead?
I'm gonna let you take that one, Andrew.
Okay. Yeah. So first of all, AI, right? Our company moves a ton of, server racks, cloud components all across the world, right? So we're supporting this AI boom in that respect. So that's you see it today because I just see the amount of volume we're moving to support the cloud infrastructure globally. But I think also, look, we hired a data scientist about a year plus ago. And our idea is obviously we need to get to a point where our data is just extremely quality, and it needs to be quality to be able to use AI to the degree we need to use it, so it's accurate as well. So I think AI is just something that is it's predominant in every industry right now. And I mean, I don't know if I'm sure that everybody here is probably using a form of AI like ChatGPT or Copilot. But there's a lot of these tools out there that are becoming really second nature to people. And I think, it's just embracing that and making sure that as we can provide automation and predictive analytics and just, like I said, stay cutting edge with our technology for our customers. It's extremely important for shipment visibility and data analytics and planning and everything that we'll need. And you see too, there's been a lot of work, robotics, drones, autonomous vehicles. A lot of that is still very new and progressive. And we do a lot of AIT has a sustainability focus, so we're looking into cleaner energy, we're looking into electronic vehicles where possible, where the infrastructure supports. So we're doing a lot of things on the sustainability end as well.
We just need to be adaptable to change. I can't imagine what all the students, everyone on this call, what you're going to see in your lifetimes, your careers. There's a lot of exciting things ahead of us, and we don't know all the answers. It's just important to remain flexible, adaptable, upskill yourself, keep learning, keep growing, and don't be afraid of that.
Yep, 1000% agree, right? No matter, there's going to be so many things on the horizon that we don't even know yet, right? But we are going to have to learn, be adaptable, right? And if we want to be part of the modern world and in our career fields, we've got to make sure that we're learning the new tech. That's really important. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna take it back a little bit and do a little time traveling. So thinking about yourselves in college, where you were at and the things that you were doing, what are some things that you either did that prepared you to be in this career field or that you wish you had done to better prepare you?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think, college is extremely important. I think just from, just the wisdom, the basic education and going through it in the life experience, I think are all very important. But I would say a lot of taking that and having that foundation, but building on it with, you've got to learn on the job in logistics because things are moving so quickly that it's, you come in with a foundation, whether it's business or entrepreneurship or finance or marketing or HR, you have all those things. But then in our industry, it's really a lot of the work is done in the moment. You have to learn on the job and you've got to stay a student, right? Like I best case, I walk into my job every day and I'm like 70% prepared on the best day. Like 30% is going to be new. It's going to be new scenarios. It's going to be learning. So you have to be really comfortable with remaining a student, right? Forever. You're learning on the industry trends. You're watching the news. You're kind of seeing how AI is adapting, and all those things are just moving so quickly that if you don't remain a sponge and have the heart of humility, I think you kind of lose yourself. You'll fall behind. So it's good to get that foundation, but for us, on the job training is every day forever.
I was going to say the exact same thing. Getting a degree gets you in the door. It proves to your future employer that you can start something, you can commit, you can finish. But even if you go to school for supply chain, it's going to give you some foundational knowledge, but you have to manage your expectations. Once you get into the career field, there's still a lot of learning to do. And so I deal with that a lot with our interns coming in, or our graduates. Even they have really high expectations that they're just going to hit the ground running like on day one. And that's not true. There's a lot that still has to be learned. So just being mindful of that and preparing, just being open to that is really important. So, yeah.
Yeah, and people leadership takes
Mhm.
time, right?
Oh, yeah. Life experience.
Life experience when you're leading people, it's about leaving your ego at home, right? Or not having, at least having a minimal ego if possible. But it once again, being a leader is about the people around you. You become invisible. It's not about you anymore. It's about coaching and empowering the team and making sure they're good. And if they're good, you're good. But if they're not good, you're not good, right? And it's about, Vaughn always says this. I love it from our CEO. He says, hire better than you. Have the, have the strength to find someone that's better than you and vulnerability and hire them. I think that's so important because when you're looking for people that are better than you, you don't have to be the smartest person in the room. You just got to find those who are smarter than you and surround yourself with them. And I think that's so important. And then listen to your team when you bring them on. If you don't listen, then you'll miss the mark. So a lot of that, once again, is life experience, especially you go into that leadership role, it's life experience. And look, we have a lot of people in our industry, maybe they have a philosophy degree. I mean, but they've done well. It's not that they haven't been able to apply that to some degree, or they haven't done really well in our industry and found a love in it. I think just because you get a degree in something doesn't necessarily mean that shuts off all the other opportunities in life that may come your way. So you just got to be flexible and not pigeonhole yourself and realize people change, industries change, and you may have wanted something this year that you may not want 5 years from now. And that's okay.
I've worked with prior teachers, people that went to school for criminal justice. I even worked with a girl that went and got a major in like archaeology or something like that. So then they all come to logistics in the end. So just you can just start there.
Yeah, I mean,
Just
we have somebody in Los Angeles, he's a rocket scientist. He worked for NASA.
a little wow.
Yeah, literally a rocket scientist. And I'm like, okay, you wanted to, we'd love to have you, of course, but why are you changing industries? And he was like, hey, it's boring there. No disrespect to NASA, just wasn't for him. But he was like, I love logistics. It's cutting edge, fast paced, and I'm not bored. So this is what I want to do. So even for a rocket scientist, it was okay to kind of switch
It's funny.
careers, right?
Yeah. And I think that's the way of the world, right? It's very rare now that you see someone in the same company, same career their whole lives. And now there's a lot of career switchers, right? And it's not just new professionals either, right? People have very established careers and they figure out, not for me anymore. Again, your goals change, your circumstances change, your family changes, right? So a lot of things contribute to that over time. Again, it's a journey. It is definitely a journey.
1000% agree.
Okay, we have a couple minutes left, but I did want to ask about the amazing opportunities that there are at AIT for our college students, our recent grads. So any of like internship opportunities. I know we've talked about it briefly, but if you can give us just a little bit more information about that.
So all you, Shanna.
Okay. Yeah, every summer we host a supply chain internship program. And we're looking for students that are in their or have just completed their junior year of college. And I'll explain why in a second, why junior year, to work in one of our largest stations in Los Angeles, Chicago, Dallas, Atlanta. Sometimes we have them in Austin. And what we do is we host you for 9 weeks and we rotate you around our operational teams. starting in the warehouse, moving to domestic operations, international operations, sales. And then at the end of that program, we bring everyone to our corporate office. So we actually fly you out to our corporate office in the Chicagoland area, Itasca, Illinois. And you get to meet a lot of our corporate leaders, including our CEO, Von Moore. You get to speak more with Andrew and lots of people, hear from lots of people. The purpose of this internship and why we structure it this way is to give you exposure to our business. It's to see if it's the right fit for you. So it's sort of like a job interview for you. Like, is this the right industry? Can you see yourself working there? And it also gives us an opportunity to get to know you and see if you're the right fit for AIT. Anyone that completes an internship with us is eligible to apply for our launch program. So let's say you're a junior. At the end of your junior year, you do this internship with us, and then you go back to school for your senior year, and you have the opportunity to apply for the launch program and start immediately after college ends. So you could potentially go back to school pretty soon after you go back to school, get a job offer, and not have to worry about it for the rest of the year. So typically in August, we start our launch trainees, and that is a 2-year program. The first year we host you at your home station, which let's say you guys are all located in LA, it could be Los Angeles for your first year. And the first year is structured a lot like our internship program. We rotate you across all of our operational teams. We just throw in a little bit more, and you get more time to spend in each rotation to really learn the core of our business. You go through all of the formal training that we have to offer. You get to work side by side with our teammates, learning on the job. The second year is where it gets really exciting because we rotate you across other AIT offices globally. So you do 4 3-month rotations. For example, we had a teammate do his first year in Los Angeles, and then we moved into Chicago for 3 months, and then Austin, Texas for 3 months, then Amsterdam for 3 months, and he's currently in Hong Kong for 3 months. And the reason we do that is just for additional exposure. Every station has a different group of customers, different commodities or shipments, types of shipments that they handle. You get to experience different leadership styles, different office cultures. You'll walk into one office and it'll just feel a certain way. It'll look a certain way. You'll maybe find it more inviting than others. When you're a leader one day, hopefully you can pull from those best practices and develop your own style, right? Of course, when you travel abroad, you get the opportunity to live and work in the culture. So you're exposed to the cultural differences and how people work, how people communicate, which is really important in our industry. And it'll give you additional empathy and understanding later down the line as you're working with them. The purpose of the 2-year program is exposure, exposure, connections, 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 and that foundation of freight forwarding. What you do with it is up to you, what your career path wants to be. So we have career conversations with you throughout your entire journey. And at the end of the 2 years, we help you find your permanent role at AIT. And the more mobile you are, the more open to relocation, the more opportunities that are available to you. And we just find you a role that aligns with your career goals at that time. So you don't have to decide on day one when you start with us. You just have to come in ready to learn, be flexible. We're looking for people that aren't just willing to travel or relocate. We're looking for people that are eager, that are excited by that want to experience the world and don't want to be held back. And I should mention that the second year when we are moving you around, that's all funded by the company. So we work with a professional mobility company. They get you an apartment, they get you a rental car if that makes sense for where you're going. They will pay for your moving, you're not moving your life, you're only going there for 3 months, but they'll fund that relocation for you. So it's a great opportunity to do that on the company's dime. It's an amazing experience, amazing opportunity, and you get to meet a lot of people along the way. So I would be happy if there's anyone on the call today that is remotely interested. Olivia will send you my contact information. One of the things that I want to stress, we do not have the internship roles posted for next summer yet. So if you fit that criteria, if you are currently a junior in college and interested in the program, save my contact information, give it to Olivia. I can even create a list and send the application link to those people once it's available. If you do see the role posted on our website later down the road, don't just apply, make sure to reach out so that I know that you are from Fulfillment Fund, because we prioritize your applications. We'll make sure that your resume is reviewed. We receive a lot of applications, so don't let it get lost in the shuffle. We really want to at least get a chance to speak with you. So.
Yeah, that's so awesome. So thank you, Shanna, for telling us all that amazing information about that opportunity. Students, we will go ahead and send out Shanna's information. So don't worry, we have everybody's attendance, so I'll make sure to give that out to you. But we are at time, so I think that was a great way to end the session with this great opportunity. So thank you again, Shanna. Thank you again, Andrew. We really appreciate you. And students, I hope you took a lot away from this session. Make sure to do your survey, and thank you for being so engaged. We'll see you in the next one. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.